Hi, I'm Adam with Let Us Try That, and today I'm going to share with you one of my all-time favorite keto-friendly dessert recipes. Today we're going to be making a low-carb keto pound cake. This recipe was in an ebook that I bought called Keto Desserts, Your Guide to Low-Carb Baking, and I'll put a link in the description for anyone who's interested in picking up a copy. This recipe does require a few ingredients that you may not have in your pantry if you're new to the keto lifestyle. But I'll put a list to all of the ingredients and links to where you can get them below this video. You'll need almond flour, protein powder, erythritol, baking powder, salt, 3 large eggs, butter, coconut milk or almond milk, vanilla extract, and liquid stevia. Okay, so we can start by lining a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan with a piece of parchment paper. It's not going to sit in there very well, but once we pour the dough in, or the batter in, it will help keep the paper in place. We can also go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And in a medium bowl, we'll whisk together some of our ingredients, starting with 1.5 cups of almond flour. So there's half, 1, and 1.5. Next we'll need a 1/2 cup of powdered erythritol. And if you have the granular kind like I do, we can just put a 1/2 cup into our Magic Bullet blender, or any blender that you happen to have. Okay, so there's 1/2 cup. And we'll just use our blender to make it from granular into powdered. It tends to mix better if I put it at an angle, so I'm moving it around to make sure all of it gets blended. All right, now that's in powdered form, and I'm going to hold my breath while I do this because I don't want to breathe in the cloud that comes out of this. Okay, the next thing on the list is 2 scoops of protein powder. Now in the original recipe, the author of the book that I got this recipe from uses vanilla flavored whey protein powder. I don't have any of that. I just happen to have unflavored protein powder. So I'm just going to double up on the liquid vanilla extract when we get to the wet ingredients. So there's 2 scoops of the protein powder, which is now all over my shirt. And then we'll do 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm using this pink Himalaya salt. It has some more minerals than regular salt, but any kind of salt will do. Now we'll whisk that all together. Just want to get that well mixed and break up any of the big clumps. We can get rid of our blender. And in another bowl, we will add 3 large eggs. 6 tablespoons of softened butter. 6 tablespoons is right there. The original recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of coconut milk, which I do not have, so I'm going to use almond milk instead. There's a 1/4 cup. And the original recipe also calls for a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, but since I didn't have vanilla flavored protein powder, I'm going to double up on the vanilla extract. So I'll put a whole teaspoon in. And yes, I got this at Costco. It is the biggest bottle they have of vanilla extract. Very expensive, but buying in bulk, it was the cheapest one by the ounce, so I'll use it eventually. Yes, I do a lot of baking, and I also like to put a splash of vanilla in my coffee, so it's good stuff. And then the last thing we need to add to the wet ingredients is 40 drops of liquid stevia. And we'll mix all of that together. You can do this with a spatula or a spoon or a hand mixer. I'm going to use a hand mixer because my butter is not as soft as I would like, and I think this will give me a better chance of getting everything mixed. And now I'm going to add my dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and continue blending until everything is thoroughly mixed. I should have let my butter come up to room temperature because it is chunky. So I'll just keep mixing it and hopefully get that well blended. After everything is thoroughly blended, we can pour the batter into our loaf pan. You can see my batter is still a little bit chunky. That's the butter. I only had it out for about 15 minutes, out of the fridge for about 15 minutes. And ideally, you want to let it warm up to room temperature so it mixes in thoroughly, but I was kind of in a hurry. The edges of my pound cake might be a little funky with all these folds in the paper, but that's okay, it's still gonna taste good. So, we'll pop this in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 to 45 minutes. You'll know it's done if you put a toothpick in and you pull out the toothpick and it doesn't have any batter on it. If the toothpick comes out clean, pound cake is done. Okay, into the oven it goes for about 40 to 45 minutes. All right, the cake has been in for about 43 minutes. I'm going to pull it out and check it. It still looks a little wet to me, although I'm not seeing any batter on the toothpick. I'm going to leave it in just a minute or two longer to make sure it's fully cooked, and then we'll take it out. All right, it should be fully cooked at this point. I'm going to go ahead and take it out. And you don't want to take this out of the baking pan just yet. It's going to be too fragile, it might fall apart. So let it cool in the pan, and once it's fully cooled, you can lift it out, slice it up, and enjoy. And once the cake has had a chance to cool off, we can take it out and slice it up. This recipe does use a few special keto ingredients that you may not have lying around, but any extra effort is totally worth it. This cake is delicious. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and share it on social media. If you want to see more videos like this one, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you won't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.